So I'm very excited for today's session because, as you know, we are already done with the syllabus. So we will be solving these MCQs subject wise, unit wise. And as I already told you, the topic for today is history, introduction, and schools of psychology. So how many of you have revised and come? Because the best way to make use of these MCQs is that we revise. So if you have revised, you can say yes in the chat box. But if you did not revise, if you did not get the time, then we might have to put in some extra effort after the session. Yes. So those who have revised, I'm seeing very good Tanisha, very good Shireen, very good Dikshita, Madhura, Sakshi, Kritika. Yes, Bani. Great, amazing. So now let's get into this process. And when we are solving the MCQs, it's not just about identifying what the correct answer is. It is also about knowing why it is the correct answer. It is also about knowing that why are other options not correct. Along with that, we will also be discussing some related concepts. We will also be practicing some follow-up questions. And while you're solving the questions, also write the answer in your notebook. Also give yourself +4. And if you're getting an answer wrong, also give yourself -1 so that once we are done with this, you can analyze the topics where you lost marks so that later you can go on and practice this. Yes, recording will be sent. Okay. So the first question that we have on screen is you have to arrange the four goals of psychology in the correct order. And whatever you think the answer is, you can type A, B, C, or D in the chat box. So a lot of the responses have already started to come in, and you are very quick. Yes. So the correct answer is the C option, description, explanation, prediction, and control. So a follow-up question to you here is that when we are answering the question, what? When the question is what? Are we talking about description? Are we talking about explanation? Or are we talking about prediction? Or are we talking about control? Yes, absolutely correct. When the question is what, at that time we are mainly answering about description. Yes. And what about why? When we're asking the question why, which of these four goals are we referring to? Yes, that is also absolutely correct. When we are answering the question why, we are talking about explanation. Yes. And one of the questions, one of the MCQs that I've seen was application based from this concept itself. So it was about the government was trying to create some interventions so that they can control the rates of crime and violence in a city. So when I'm talking about introducing some interventions to improve the situation, which goal am I talking about? Interventions come most likely in which of the goals? Yes. So all of you are correct. This is about your intervention. So whenever you want to improve something, whenever you want to change some situation, for that we are using our interventions. That's control. So a lot of you got this correct. I'm quite glad to see that you can give yourself a +4 for this. Now, this is the next question for you. Two statements we have to identify which is right, which is wrong. So statement 1 says that according to dualism, the soul and body are distinct from one another. But according to statement 2, they're saying that Aristotle believes in the dualist perspective. So what's the answer of this? So I'm getting mixed responses between 1 and 3. There's also a 4, but we'll go ahead with the one that most of you agree with. So a few more seconds and then you can give your final answer. So let's see what the correct answer is. Let's evaluate this question. So the first statement is saying that soul and body are distinct from one another. Distinct meaning they're different from one another. Soul is a different thing, body is a different thing. So when we are saying that they both are separate, they both are separate entities, they both are distinct entities, of course we're talking about two separate things and two means dual. So this is the correct explanation of dualism. So statement 1 is absolutely correct. But let's evaluate statement 2 now. Is Aristotle a dualist or is Aristotle a monist? What do you think? Dualist or monist? Yes, so Aristotle is a monist. He is not a dualist, which is why this statement is incorrect, right? And by that logic, the correct answer is that statement one is correct, but statement two is incorrect. Yes. So can you tell me which exactly are the philosophers who were dualists? Because I have seen a lot of questions on this. They do ask you which Greek philosophers believed in the concept of dualism, who believed in the concept of monism. So let us make a list here so that we don't get it wrong later. Right? So talking about dualists, we are correct that Socrates was a dualist. And you remember there was a student of Socrates who believed in everything that Socrates said. Who was that student? That student was Plato. Yes. So both Socrates and Plato will be dualists. But Aristotle, who came after Plato, did not agree with the things that Socrates and Plato said. He was most likely the opposite of them, which is why Aristotle will be a monist. Anybody else that comes to your mind who you may think that is also a dualist, an important person that we're missing right now? Who is an important dualist? It is Descartes. Yes. So we need to be very clear with the understanding that who is a dualist, who is a monist, and we have correctly written it down on the screen. This is the exact thing that you need to follow. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. So now you have been given a few statements and you have to identify that which one is correct. So let's see the first one. So Hippocrates proposed four humors: sanguine, melancholic, phlegmatic, and choleric. Socrates believed that knowledge is gained through experience. Aristotle later influenced the work of John Locke. And Plato's theory includes the rational, appetitive, and emotional soul. So, which one seems correct to you? So, this is a challenging question. You might want to take some time to read it properly. Okay, so let us begin by evaluating each of the statements one by one. So, we'll know what the correct answer is. So when we say Hippocrates proposed four humors, sanguine, melancholic, phlegmatic, and choleric, does this statement feel correct or does it feel incorrect? First, tell me for the first statement only. Does it feel correct? Does it feel incorrect? So if you're saying it is incorrect, what is incorrect about this? What should be changed here? Yes. So those who are saying Galen is the one. So these sanguine, melancholic, phlegmatic, and choleric, what do we call this? These are types of what? These are types of what? These are not the four humors. See, exactly. I knew that you would make a mistake here, which is why I deliberately we added such kind of a question. So these are types of temperaments. These are not the four humors, right? So a clarification here. Hippocrates is the one who gave four humors. What are those four humors? Tell me in the chat box. Four humors, and that's why his theory is also called the humoral theory. Black bile, yellow bile, blood, and phlegm. Yes. So that is all that we need to know about Hippocrates. So ये तो उसने बस फोर ह्यूमर्स ही दिए तो टेम्परामेंट कहाँ से आए? Who has given temperament? Galen, as you all correctly mentioned. And in our notes, in our PPTs, there is also a table which correctly mentions that sanguine temperament के क्या characteristics होते हैं, melancholic के क्या characteristics होते हैं, phlegmatic के क्या characteristics and choleric के क्या. So I will be giving you a few characteristics and you have to identify which temperament I'm talking about. Instead of writing the whole thing, you can just use the initials. So when we're saying a very sad disposition and tendency to be depressed, yes, so that is melancholic. Yes. When I'm saying very aggressive tendencies, Aggressive tendencies is mostly associated with which temperament? Like a lot of aggression, a lot of power. Yes, that is choleric. What about someone who is very relaxed, like very peaceful, very relaxed? Peaceful and relaxed is phlegmatic. And when I'm saying very cheerful, cheerful is cheerful is sanguine. Yes. So most of you will also make a confusion between sanguine and phlegmatic, right? So when I'm saying cheerful, that is sanguine. Phlegmatic, on the other hand, is relaxed. So with this, we have also revised the work of Hippocrates and Galen little bit. So if you get a question on humors, on temperaments, you know what the correct answer is. So of course, this statement is incorrect because here we have written it opposite. Then second statement, Socrates believed that knowledge is gained through experience. Is this correct or incorrect? So this is also incorrect because Socrates is not talking about gaining knowledge through experience. He rather says that knowledge is inborn, knowledge is innate. तो innate knowledge का concept दिया ना Socrates ने, तो ये भी गलत है फिर. So who is the one who is saying that knowledge is actually gained through experience then, if not Socrates? Yes. So John Locke and Aristotle, both of them believe that knowledge is gained through experience. And this school of thought is known as, what is this perspective known as when we say that knowledge is gained through, that is empiricism. So we don't have to get confused in this. Why did it take so much time to think? It is empiricism when we say that knowledge is gained through experience and observation. And what about the third statement when I'm saying that Aristotle later influenced the work of John Locke? Is that correct or is that incorrect? Yes, 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 that is correct. Because Aristotle came first, he is the one who said that we are gaining knowledge through experience with the environment. And John Locke later talked about the same thing, right? Through your empiricism. So three is correct. And what about the fourth one? Plato's theory of soul includes rational, appetitive, and emotional soul. So, yes, rational, appetitive. What is the other name of emotional soul? Yes, it is the spiritual soul. That's the other name. So it's the same thing only. So both 3 and 4 are correct. So we'll go with option B. Okay, great. So now, who was the first Greek philosopher to suggest that illnesses have an organic rather than a supernatural cause? Supernatural cause meaning your evil spirits, the bhoot, pret, and all. So a lot of you are saying Hippocrates, which is the correct answer. He's the one. And he has done a lot of work on a particular illness, on a particular disease. What is that disease? Yes, epilepsy, very good. Vani and Shireen, Kamya, Nayana, all of you who are saying epilepsy. He has done a lot of work on epilepsy. And what is the name of the book that is written by Hippocrates? On the sacred disease. So even before I'm completing the question, you are giving me the answer. So I'm so impressed. It tells me that you have revised very nicely. So let's make a note of the related concepts also. So do you know that everybody who came before Hippocrates believed that illnesses are happening because of bhooth, pret, evil spirits and all that, but Hippocrates is the one who said that no, it is not happening because of the such supernatural causes. It is rather happening because of something to do with the body itself. So that's why the term organic disease, because there is something wrong with the body which is leading to illnesses. It's nothing to do with ghosts, right? And Hippocrates also gave a term known as restorative medicine. Does anybody know the meaning of restorative medicine? If yes, then you can say yes. If you're hearing for the first time, you can tell me that as well. So this term was given by Hippocrates. Restorative medicine means that the body itself has the capacity to heal itself whenever it gets injured or sick. Right? Whenever we get a wound, whenever we get a simple injury or a mild cut, the body heals itself. We don't always have to apply very big bandages down. Like body has the capacity. So that is known as restorative medicine. Okay. So the next question is about matching the two columns, the two lists with each other. And you are very quick with the responses again, very impressive. All of you are getting this right. Yes. So psychophysics was founded by Fechner. Yes. And just noticeable difference was given by Weber. Innate knowledge, just now we discussed in the previous questions, is given by Socrates. And empiricism also, we saw that it is given by Aristotle. So this was quite simple. We can discuss a little bit about psychophysics, the work of Fechner and Weber. Along with psychophysics, what else has Fechner given? He has given a very important concept. What is that? Yes, absolute threshold. And what about the important concept that Weber has given? Yes, the just noticeable difference. Right. Now, I don't want you to get confused between who gave absolute threshold and who gave J and D, which is why we have written it all here so that you're clear. इसने ये दिया था, इसने ये दिया था. Okay. So let's move to the next question. Now we have to arrange the Greek philosophers in the correct chronological order. Remember in class I taught you a mnemonic also for this. थोड़ा सा think little bit and then only respond. So first you all were saying A, but now I'm seeing that people are shifting towards D. So who came first? It is Hippocrates that came first. वही सबसे पहले आया था. He is the one who led to the beginning of Greek philosophy. So Hippocrates will come first. So we can easily eliminate A and B. Now we have to decide between C and D. Tell me one from this. Is it C or is it D? Yes, so a lot of you are saying D. So D is the correct answer because Hippocrates is the first one, as I said. And then what follows after Hippocrates is the mnemonic SPA, as I've taught you in class also. S referring to Socrates, then Socrates ka student tha Plato. Socrates and Plato almost agreed on most of the things. So whatever Socrates has said will also be applied to Plato. Right? And then we had Aristotle, whose approach was very different from the one that Socrates and Plato said. So let's just do a very quick summary table to revise whatever Socrates and Plato have said. So first thing that both of them said was about innate knowledge. Both of them agreed in innate knowledge. Both of them also agreed in one more thing, which is rationalism. Both of them were monists or dualists. Both of them were dualists. Yes. तो मोस्टली क्वेश्चन आपको एग्जाम में इसी पे आता है कि इननेट नॉलेज है, रैशनलिज्म है, डुअलिस्ट है. इससे यही पूछता है वो. दे विल नॉट गेट इनटू सो मच डिटेल्स लाइक Socrates talked about eudaimonia, Socrates talked about virtues also, Socrates talked about the know thyself, he talked about psyche and all. That's like extra information. They will not get into so much detail. This much which is written should be enough. Now let's talk a little about Aristotle. So Aristotle एकदम उल्टा है इनसे, we know that. So we can say that He talked about empiricism, and he also talked about monism. So this much knowledge about Socrates and Aristotle should be enough for us. And with this, let's move ahead. So which philosopher is credited with the term cogito ergo sum? This is pretty simple. We know that Descartes is the one who gave this. What is the meaning of this term, by the way? I know, therefore I am. Yes. So I will write it here. I know, therefore I am. So which period is Descartes actually a part of? Because we know the history of psychology can be divided into different periods. One, there are the Greek philosophers like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and all that we've been discussing. But Descartes is actually a part of the different period. So he is the part of the period of Renaissance. And Renaissance actually means enlightenment, if you translate it. So it's the same thing only. Right. We have some more questions on Descartes in the upcoming slide, so we will discuss his theory also in a little bit in detail. Yes. So according to the theory of interactionism, the soul and body connect via the pineal gland. Yes. Who is the one who has given this theory of interactionism? Yes, so it is Descartes only that we were talking about. Now let's revise whatever Descartes has said. So the first thing about him is that he belongs to the period of Renaissance. As I already told you, what else? He has given the theory of interactionism. And what about his views? Is he a monist or is he a dualist? Very good. You have already started to give me the responses that he is a dualist. Because if he's saying that soul and body are interacting, that obviously means soul and body are different, which means he is a dualist. And they are interacting via the pineal gland, as we have correctly marked it here. What else about him? That he was a rationalist. Yes. Method of doubt also, but again, that's like an advanced piece of information. They might not ask that much in detail in the CVT, but we will just write it. Yes, we will also write it here about method of doubts. And do you know that Descartes was not actually a psychologist, he was a mathematician. Along with that, he's also called a very famous phrase, we can say, a very famous title, father of modern philosophy. Yes. Now, can you tell me what is the other name of the pineal gland? Yes, it's the conarium. Great. So we have discussed everything about Descartes. And if at all there is a question, it will most likely be from these points only. So, जो भी question आता है Descartes पे, we will be able to answer that now. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. There are a lot of questions on this also. Repeatedly, I have seen questions on tabula rasa. So, yes, all of you are correct. Tabula rasa has been given by John Locke. What is the meaning of the word tabula rasa? Empty slate, blank slate. Yes. So, what does this mean? Basically, that when we are we born with some knowledge? Yes or no? No, we are not inborn. We are not innately born with any knowledge. We are just born with an empty slate. So whenever we learn from our experiences, they get printed on the slate that is initially empty. तो इसका मतलब तो ये हुआ कि not born with knowledge. So if we are not born with any knowledge, that means we must be gaining our knowledge from the environment through our senses. So according to that perspective, John Locke belongs to the field of rationalism or empiricism. Yes, which is why with this logic, he is an empiricist. And similarly, another empiricist is Aristotle too. Plato and Descartes are not empiricists, they are rationalists. Next question. So, frames and assumptions on the basis of which theories are generated are known as. Yes, so in our PPT, there is a very crystal clear sentence that says that paradigms are frames and assumptions using which we base our research on, and using that we make our theories. So the answer for that is paradigms only. Now, can you tell me that what are the four paradigms of research? We'll write it here. Ontology, yes. Then we have epistemology. We also have methodology. And at the end, we have axiology. Now let's quickly go over what each of these answer and what are the subtypes under them. So which one of these asks us um about the nature of reality, like how many realities are there? This question is answered by ontology. Yes. And what can be the two continuums in ontology? So one of the continuum might believe that there is only one reality, but the other continuum might say that there are multiple realities. So yes, we have realism and relativism. Realism, only one reality, relativism, multiple. What about epistemology? What central question does epistemology answer? How knowledge is gained. Yes. How can we know what we know? How can we obtain knowledge? What is the source of knowledge? So two continuums once again here. On one continuum, you would have objective. On the other continuum, you would have subjective. Yes. So for the lack of space, I will be continuing this little downwards over here. So who is this making these drawings on screen? If it's by mistake, it's all right. But if you're doing it purposely, then we'll remove you from the class. Yes, epistemology. Objective versus subjective. And methodology. What are the two continuums in methodology? Basically, these are all the methods that you take in, the methods that you use while you are conducting research. So here we have qualitative versus quantitative. And lastly, what is the one most important keyword while talking about axiology? Values. Yes. Values or ethics. Is our research influenced by our own personal values, or is it just completely free of our values? So, according to you, quantitative research, should it be diluted by our own values, or should it be free from our own values? Yes, it should be free. Does quantitative research follow realism or relativism? Yes, it follows realism. Okay, so are you all aware of the difference between a school of thought and a force? Okay, so I will just give you the explanation and you will identify if it's a school or if it's a force. So, certain people who have shared ideologies come together to create a certain school or a certain umbrella. Then I gave the answer. Yes, I will be more careful while giving the explanations. And what about when we're saying that the idea is so revolutionary, the idea is so impactful that it helped the masses also know a little bit about the field of psychology? So that is a force. Now, what was the first force of psychology? Let's write the forces also with a different color. The first force, psychoanalysis. What was the second force? Second force was behaviorism. Yes, correct. And the third force, humanistic. Yes. Do we have any other forces after this, or does it end at humanistic? So the fourth force is, तो आप लोग mixed answer दे रहे हो आप. Someone is saying cognitive, someone is saying existential, someone is saying. So just tell me one answer. It is cognitive. Now tell me what is the first school of thought? Yes, great. It was structuralism only. We have a very nice question in this PPT where you have to arrange the schools of thought in the correct answer, in the correct order. Yes, so hope you are aware that schools have a different order, forces have a different order. Most likely they'll ask you about first, second, third, fourth school only. They will not ask you, tell us what is the name of the seventh force. Because mostly यही main है, 1, 2, 3, 4, तो इसी में से आएगा question. And there was a question about asking the third force. So that is humanistic. So who is the father of the cognitive school or the cognitive force? Aaron Beck. Aaron Beck. Aaron Beck has given something else. What is that? एरन बेक ने सीबीटी दी है. सीबीटी बहुत दूर जाके आएगी अभी. अभी हम इतनी दूर नहीं पहुंचे हैं. We are just talking about the cognitive school of thought because at that time computers and all were getting very famous. So he wanted to understand how our mind works exactly like a computer. So that's why cognitive psychology started to come as like, computers store information, they retrieve information, they manipulate information. So how is our mind exactly doing the same? So what is the name of this model? What do we call this model, which I just explained right now? Yes, it is known as
Paradigm.
processing model. Yes, info processing. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Lot of revision with this concept. So, a researcher who believes in understanding in-depth experiences of survivors of partition through qualitative method follows which approach of ontology? So, take some time to think about the answer. If you are confused between B and C, you might want to eliminate.
Researcher who believes in understanding and depth experiment of survivors of partition through qualitative methods
Who
follows
is
which approaches.
okay? So, a lot of you are sticking to B, which is the correct answer. Yes. It is relativism. Just now we discussed key ontology, realism, and relativism. So, yes. It will be this relativism only. One more question where you have to match them in the correct order. And these are known as, what do we call these four? Determinism, parsimony, testability, empiricism. These are called canons. Yes, these are called canons of science. So a lot of you are saying D. Let's see how this can be matched together. So determinism is cause and effect. Yes. Can you tell me one theory in psychology which is so famous, which is based on determinism only? It is an extremely famous theory. Yes. So psychoanalysis is also there. Behaviorism is also there. And what is the opposite of determinism? So if determinism is saying that everything is happening because of some cause, the other approach that says that no, there is not such a clear cause effect. It's also about the person's freedom, the person's will to do what they want. So the opposite of this would be free will. And theories which are based on free will, for example, humanistic, existential, Gestalt, all of these are based on free will only. Then parsimony. So parsimony says that you want to simplify things as much as possible. So that will be simplicity only. Then empiricism, just now we saw Aristotle, John Locke, who say that we gain knowledge through experiences with the environment. That is empiricism. And ultimately testability is left. So when you create theories, your theory should have the opportunity to be falsified. If more and more upcoming research is coming, your theory should have some space that it can be falsified by another researcher in the future. So these are the four canons of science. And if you match this, it will be B then. Yes. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So Sia makes coffee for herself with 1 spoon sugar. However, she finds it too bitter for her taste. Later, she realizes she needs at least 3 spoons in order to be able to feel the difference. So, what is the JND here? You have to find the JND. So, again, some confusion between two options. Try eliminating. So, now she has made this coffee, right? So, this is her coffee. It has 1 spoon of sugar. This is not enough for her. Then she goes in and realizes that I need 3 spoons in order to feel a difference. I at least need 3 spoons in order to feel that there has been some change. So, how many spoons did she add extra? She added 2 extra spoons, which is why the just noticeable difference would be 2 spoons, right? And who has given the concept of JND just now we discussed. We don't want to get confused between the two. Yes. So JND was given by Fechner Weber. Yes. Yes, Weber is the one who has given JND. So I hope you all understood why it is 2 and not 3. Because we have to find by subtracting it what it was previously versus what it is now. So to understand what is the difference, we need to find out how much change has occurred. And to find out the change, we have to subtract it only. So that's how GND is calculated. So if you understood this, you can say yes in the chat box. Okay, great. Let's proceed forward. So the next question, Max Wertheimer's school of thought would most likely disagree with which school of thought? So first tell me that what is the school of thought that Max Wertheimer has given? Yes, so Max Wertheimer is the founder of the Gestalt school of thought. And along with him, there are two more people who are also associated with the Gestalt school of thought, even though they are not the founders. Who are they? Yes, they are Kurt, Kurt Kafka, and Wolfgang Kohler. So now coming back to the answer of this, Gestalt would most likely disagree with which of the schools? Okay, so all of you are saying C. What makes you say that it is C? A can also be the answer, but most likely disagree, hai na? Most likely to disagree. So that is why we go ahead with C. But what is the deciding factor? What is the defining factor that made you realize that we are talking about structuralism? So I'm seeing reductionism and breaking down atomic and molar approach. Yes. So we know that according to structuralism, consciousness can be broken down. And when you break down consciousness into different parts, into different elements, that is known as the reductionist approach. That is also known as the atomic approach. But then Wertheimer, because they literally use the tagline, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So that means they're talking about seeing it as a whole. They're looking at the holistic perspective rather than breaking it down. So that's why this approach is known as, what do we call this approach? Molar approach. Yes. So with this, we have answered this question. Psychoanalytic also believes in reductionism because the personality can be broken down into id-ego, superego. But structuralism is the one whose main focus was on breaking it down. So that's why C will be a better choice as compared to A. So tell me that who is the founder of structuralism? Thank you for not saying Wundt. Tishner is the founder of structuralism. So what has Wundt founded then? Wundt is also the founder of one ideology. What is that? Yes, it is voluntarism. So I'll write about Wundt here. Wundt has given voluntarism. And he has given one more, which is, can anybody recall it? Content psychology. Did I teach this to you as a part of the course, or is this a new information that I'm giving today? Content psychology. Yes. So Wundt gave voluntarism and content psychology. Tell me the name of the method that structuralists use. Yes, they use introspection. Now you have to tell me that according to Wundt, conscious experience can be broken down into what all? Can be broken down into three things. What are they? No, it is not thoughts, experiences, and emotions. We are talking about representation. Yes, representation is one, feeling is another, and will is another. देखो हमें यहाँ पे टिश्नर के components and Wundt के components में confuse नहीं होना है. Tishner is the one who has given sensations, images, and affect, but Wundt is the one who has given representation, feeling, and will. So representation, feeling, and will. And now that we're revising all of this so much, do you also remember the name of the university where Tishner went in and he over that university? In that he founded and established structuralism as a separate school. Yes, so that is the Cornell University. And along with that, let's also write कि Tishner के क्या क्या components थे. Sensation, and we said image and affect. Okay, great. So we have covered almost everything about structuralism, but one important thing is left. That about the lab. Yes. So in which year was the lab founded? Where was it founded? वो तो हमें पता ही होगा. तो very basic information. 1879. in Leipzig, Germany. One more thing. Tell me the name of the book that Wundt has written. Does anybody remember this? Wow, limited people remember it, but if you do, that means you have gone into the depth and detail and revised it very properly. So yes, it is Principles of Physiological Psychology. So where should I write it? It's almost filled. Principles of Physiological Psychology, written by Wundt. Yes, so we have discussed everything so much in detail. मतलब एक question से कितनी ज़्यादा revision कर ली हमने. We talked about the lab in which year it was established. We also talk about the school of thought that Wundt has given, the method that they used to follow, that they used to break down consciousness into different parts. This is called reductionism or atomic school. He, using introspection, broke it down into representation, feeling, and will. His work is also called content psychology. Do you know why exactly it's called voluntarism and content psychology? The reason behind that is voluntarism is because he was voluntarily asking his participants. Participants were also voluntarily reporting that when we touch the leaf, this is what the representation comes to our mind. This is what the feeling comes to us. Because the participants were voluntarily doing it, that's why it's called voluntarism. And content psychology क्यों बोला उसको? Because he wanted to understand the contents of the mind by breaking them down. This is the exact reason because I'm breaking down the mind into its smallest unit, which is the thought. I want to understand the contents of the mind. This is why it's called content psychology. Yes, and that is all. I think mostly we've covered everything about structuralism. So again, next question, which of the following schools of thought are based on reductionism? Just now we discussed reductionism. ये अभी तो किया हमने. Structuralism, of course, just now we discussed. Psychoanalytic also we discussed. Just now I told you Freud also said that personality can be broken down into ego, superego. So 1 and 4 is the answer, right? So this was okay. So this is not in the options. That's why it must be taking time for you. So 1 and 4, structuralism and psychoanalytic. This is based on the molar approach that we already know. The founder of this is Wertheimer. It focuses on whole being greater than the sum of its parts. All right. Functionalism. Who is the founder of functionalism? Yes, it is William James, which is the founder of structuralism. We can discuss about structuralism also little bit in detail, just how we discussed. Yeah, we can discuss functionalism जैसे हमने structuralism किया था discuss. इसका founder William James है. Right. Now tell me the name of the book which William James had written. Principles of Psychology. Yes, Principles of Psychology was the book written by him, William James. And does anybody know that where he used to teach? He used to teach in Harvard University, and this was the first course on psychology that he had launched. So Harvard University में पढ़ाते थे first course of psychology, and Principles of Psychology is the first textbook of psychology. If anybody knows that, first textbook. Yes. Okay. And what else about William James? So he was inspired by whose work? His theory of functionalism is based on Darwin's theory of natural selection. Yes. So that also we know. What else do we know about this? तो जो फंक्शनलिज्म थ्योरी है वो एक चीज पर फोकस करती है. व्हाट इज दैट? According to functionalism, the function, yes, according to functionalism, the function of mind is dash. According to functionalism, the function of the mind is adaptation. Yes. So, क्योंकि उसका नाम ही functionalism है, you know how this all was created. William James was like कि you just keep on breaking down the structure of the mind to its smallest elements. What should I even do with that? आप तो तोड़ते रह जाओगे उसको, बट हमें उससे क्या ही मिलेगा, हम क्या करें उससे? So that's why he rejected structuralism, because he said that you are wasting a lot of time. It is just futile to keep on breaking it down. Rather, it's important that you at least understand what the mind does, leading to functions of the mind, which is adaptation. So I will write all of this down. So, what the mind does. What the mind does is more important than knowing कि उसका structure क्या है. This led to functions of the mind, which is adaptation. Okay. So I guess we have covered William James also. Don't think anything else. One very important term that he gave. वो टर्म देख के हमें पता लग जाता है कि इसकी बात हो रही है, इसकी थ्योरी की. व्हाट इज दैट टर्म? Yes, it is streams of consciousness. So consciousness is an ever-flowing stream. Right. So with this, functionalism is also done. And interesting point, if anybody wants to know, that Tishner also got inspired by James later. So he left structuralism and he also became a functionalist later. Yes. So structuralism is the first school of thought. Functionalism is the second school of thought. What is the third school of thought? पहले बिहेवियरिज्म आया कि साइकोएनालिसिस? पहले साइकोएनालिसिस आया था ना. Yes, so if I have to arrange these in the correct school of thought, then structuralism will come first, then functionalism will come second, then psychoanalytic will come third. What came after psychoanalysis? Did Gestalt come or behaviorism? Gestalt ethical behaviorism. What came after psychoanalytic? It was Gestalt, right? Yes. And then behaviorism came later. Then humanistic and all came later. तो हम ये करेंगे बाद में आगे. तो ये schools of thought का order, forces of psychology का order we don't want to forget. So identify the psychologist who authored the first book of psychology. Yes, so this is William James, Principles of Psychology. That was the first textbook of psychology. He also introduced the first course on psychology in the Harvard University. He gave functionalism. That all we have discussed. Next, so now you have to arrange the schools in the correct order. Yes, A is the correct answer. And if you find it difficult to remember how did the schools follow, how should I remember the order, remember that it's all following in the format of a story. In what way? Structuralism was, of course, the first one because he set up the lab in 1879. That's pretty easy to remember. But then William James said that you're wasting your time by breaking it down into small parts. Rather, it's more important that you study what are the functions of the mind. Then psychoanalytic is such a big thing. That, of course, we can remember is the third school of thought. Then Gestalt, then behaviorism. And in response to behaviorism, do you know that why was behaviorism launched? मतलब ये जो है Ivan Pavlov, B.F. Skinner, Thorndike and all, they always said that we want to focus on the things which are observable, things that are scientifically measurable, things that we can see in front of us. But on the other hand, structuralism, functionalism, and psychoanalytic are just stuck with the consciousness and unconscious. We cannot see the consciousness, we cannot see the unconscious. So it's better that you focus on things that are visibly there, present in front of you, things that you can see. That's why behaviorism always has to come after these three. And humanistic was coming as a response to behaviorism itself, because behaviorism had so many experiments, reinforcements, and all. So they sort of started to believe that you need to treat humans like humans and not animals and robots. And as a result of that, humanistic had come up. So this is the correct order. Now make some mnemonic if you want. S, F, P, G, B, H. आपको जो mnemonic बनाना है आप बना सकते हो, but A is the correct one. A and D are the same. Yes, it happens in the CUET as well. और अगर ऐसे हो जाता है तो उस केस में क्या होता है कि अगर आपने ए और डी में से कुछ एक मार्क किया है तो आपको मार्क्स मिल जाएंगे, नहीं तो ये क्वेश्चन को ही ड्रॉप कर देंगे वो, राइट? सो बात तो यही है कि हमें ऑर्डर समझ आ गया, विच इज दिस. ओके, नेक्स्ट, द बुक ऑथर्ड बाय विलियम बुंट. Already discussed this previously. Principles of Physiological Psychology. Okay, and these two we have just created just like that. ये कोई actual book भी नहीं है. और ये बुक किसने दी थी? जेम्स ने दिया है. हमें पता है, ये हमने बहुत बार कर लिया डिस्कस. नेक्स्ट. Now there was a very important landmark which happened in the year 1892. Can you identify what it is? ऐसा क्या हुआ था इतनी बड़ी चीज 1892 में हमारी फील्ड के लिए? Yes, it is the establishment of the APA. Who is the first president of APA? It is G. Stanley Hall. Yes. So G. Stanley Hall was the first president of APA. Remember, this is not the American Psychiatric Association. This is American Psychological Association. In 1892, it was formed. Then these option A and B, ये तो काफी पहले की चीज है ये तो 1879 onwards, like some beginnings of 1800. So it's like pretty early. We haven't reached so far over here right now. So the theory that focuses on the adaptive functions of the mind was inspired by. देखो, सब लोग इतने एक्साइटेड होते हैं क्वेश्चन आंसर करने के लिए कि वो ठीक से नहीं पढ़ते हैं क्वेश्चन, और जब वो नहीं ठीक से पढ़ते क्वेश्चन तो उनका गलत हो जाता है. और जो भी सी बोल रहे हैं उन्होंने ठीक से नहीं पढ़ा है क्वेश्चन. So it is asking, it was inspired by whom? It's not saying that who gave the theory that the function of the mind is adaptation. It is saying inspired by whom. So it's Darwin only, right? So all of this we have revised, we have discussed entire functionalism we have done. हमें पता है कि William James was inspired by Darwin. That's why B will be the correct answer. Next. So which school of thought would not focus on phenomenology? So there can be two correct answers here. Which ones feel like कि नहीं ये तो नहीं करेंगे? Give me your two best picks. Yes, B and D. Both of them did not focus on phenomenology. Now, first thing, like, what is the meaning of phenomenology? Phenomenology is understanding things from the person's perspective, from their internal frame of reference. Yes, lived experience. तो क्या क्या की टर्म हो सकते हैं इसको समझाने के लिए? lived experience, lived experience है, and what else is there? Internal frame of reference is there. Yes, every person has unique experience. So wherever you see lived experience, internal frame of reference, you know it's talking about phenomenology only. Now, does structuralism have to do anything with your lived experiences? Did Wundt ever ask his participants about their lived experiences? No, he was not interested in that. तो ये तो बिल्कुल नहीं है. But what about existentialism? Like when you are applying existential therapy with a client, client who has lost everything, client who lost the family in war. Now they're left with nothing. They have to make meaning of life. Yes, तो meaning of life है तो ये existentialism. Psychoanalytic is also not very interested in phenomenology, but Gestalt is very much interested. So A and C will be your correct answers from this. Both of them will be acceptable. So who is the founder of existentialism? Yes, thank you for not saying Viktor Franklin. He is not the founder. He Kierkegaard, you're talking about Soren Kierkegaard. He is not the founder of existentialism. Basically, existentialism is a philosophy. So his views and what he has said has inspired and influenced, but ये नहीं है कि वो फाउंडर है. तो रोलो में इज द करेक्ट आंसर. जब फाउंडर की बात करें तो रोलो में है. ऐसे तो अर्विन यालोम भी है, विक्टर फ्रैंकलिन भी है, बट ये लोग फाउंडर्स नहीं है. दे हैव जस्ट contributed in this field. Okay. And the rest of the fields we know about the founders. So the Gestalt school of thought follows which approach? The top-down approach, right? Which is also called, in the PPT, it was written top-down slash constructivism. Yes, top-down slash constructivism. So if I'm going to a garden and if I am seeing a tree, the tree has a lot of branches, right? And along with branches, there are so many leaves also on that tree. So I am not going in and I am not saying, oh, one leaf, second leaf, third leaf, fourth leaf. And I also love this example. I am not going to each leaf individually. अभी तो उसके ऊपर fruits भी होते हैं ना. So let's make some apples. And there are very nice flowers also. So I'm not going and I'm not seeing every individual flower, every individual fruit, every individual leaf, every individual. I'm not doing that. Rather, I am looking at it as a whole. And in order to do that, what am I using? I am using my memory. I am using my perception. I am using my schemas. I am using my knowledge that I have gained over time through experiences. So that is why I am starting from my cognition first. I am starting from the top. I'm using all my memory, perception, all of that I'm using. And then I am making sense that this is a tree. In my schema, I know that a brown structure which has leaves on top of it, that is a tree. So that is using cognition to interpret what is there in front of you. So that is why top down, right? तो इसलिए ये just all school follows the top down approach only. And inductive and deductive, this is just given to confuse you. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, हमने जान के डाला है. Next question, the famous quote. Who gave this quote? Give me a dozen healthy infants, well formed, and my own specified world to bring them up. You're not even reading the whole and you're just giving your answers like that. Yes, the answer is correct. It was Watson only. Now let's talk a little about Watson, his work. So, what is the name of the major experiments that he had done? Yes, the little Albert experiment, right? Little Albert experiment that he had done. And he had used the principles of whose theory? So Little Albert experiment was created on the basis of the work by a previous behaviorist, and that is Ivan Pavlov. So that's why we say that Little Albert experiment is an application of classical conditioning on humans. So what did he do? He induced a phobia into a child who was not actually scared of any white objects. Yes. So when you are getting scared of every single white thing that you see, that concept is known as what? From the theory of classical conditioning. Yes, that is known as generalization. because you have generalized your fear. So that's generalization. And later there was someone who also conducted some research to understand how phobias can be reversed. Who is that person? It was Mary Cover Jones. Yes. Now we will discuss classical conditioning in a little more detail when we are solving MCQs on the learning chapter. Abhi, this much is enough. Who is the founder of behaviorism? Yes, it is Watson. Now, quickly, in very brief, let's go over the contribution of each of these. So, contribution of Ivan Pavlov is classical conditioning. Yes. What about the contribution of B.F. Skinner? Operant conditioning, also known as what type of conditioning? Instrumental conditioning. एंड हमें ये पता ही है कि वॉटसन इज द फाउंडर. And what about Edward Thorndike? What did he do? He gave the law of effect. He also talked about trial and error learning, right? And इसकी cat वाली experiment थी. So tell me that B.F. Skinner's work was inspired by which behaviorist from all of these? Yes, Thorndike. The law of effect only says na कि if there is a behavior which is leading to pleasurable or positive consequences, then that behavior will be strengthened and vice versa. So the concept of reinforcement is based on that only given by Skinner, right? So I hope that this bit is clear. Let's go to the next one. A researcher rejects the use of introspection, claiming that for psychology to be a purely objective experimental branch of natural science, it must exclusively focus on the prediction and control of observable actions. So, which pioneer would most likely advocate for this approach? Yes, so this also talks about the criticism of the previous fields because, as behaviorists say, that we should only focus on what is observable, what is scientifically measurable, something that we can see, right? Not anything which is an internal process. So, that's why focus on overt actions. प्रिडिक्शन एंड कंट्रोल ऑफ ओवर्ट एक्शन क्योंकि हमें ऑब्जेक्टिविटी चाहिए तभी तो हम उसको एक्सपेरिमेंट बुला पाएंगे साइंस की तरह. तो ही इज द फाउंडर ऑफ बिहेवियरिज्म सो ऑफ कोर्स ही वुड एग्री विद इट. Piaget is a developmental psychologist. He isn't even related over here. William James and William Wundt will also not be the answer because they talk about consciousness, which is an internal process. So Watson, of course, is the correct answer. Next, the behaviorist who applied the principles of classical conditioning to humans was, yes, it was Watson in the Little Albert experiment. We just discussed that. And if we were doing the learning class today, I would have also asked you to identify the CC, which is, no, not the CC, the CS, CS, CR, UCS, UCR. I would have asked you to identify that in the Little Albert experiment. So, can we do that quickly? Can we identify that what is the response? What is the unconditioned response? The unconditioned response was the fear or crying, जो भी बोलना है fear बोल लेते हैं. And what was the unconditioned stimulus here? When you are giving this unconditioned stimulus, then the child is very naturally, very automatically giving you the fear response. So it was the loud noise. है ना? क्योंकि right now the conditioning has not taken place and any child you give them loud noise, they are bound to cry. So loud noise will be the unconditioned stimulus and this will be the fear, the unconditioned response. What was the neutral stimulus? Right now conditioning hasn't been done, so neutral stimulus here, rat का emoji भी डाल रहे हो आप, wow. So rat was the neutral stimulus. But now the conditioning has been taken place. So once the conditioning has done, now what becomes the conditioned stimulus? The rat becomes the conditioned stimulus now, and the conditioned response is the fear. Yes. So see, like this, we have revised and summarized the Little Albert experiment also. In learning chapter, we can go over it again. Next, if a psychologist describes the human mind as a complex information processing system similar to a computer, then they're most likely adhering to which school? Yes, we discussed information processing model. We compared the mind with the computer, how it stores information, retrieves information, codes information. So that is cognitive psychology only, and founder also we discussed. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Next question. A psychologist is focused on the streams of consciousness, arguing that mental process should be studied as continuous flowing whole rather than broken into atoms. This is functionalism, already discussed a lot in detail. Next, which of the following pairs is most accurately matched with respect to the specific school in psychology? Again, I am seeing confusion between two of the options, so try elimination here. Of course, A will not be the answer because streams of consciousness is a concept from your functionalism. Then adaptation of mind is also a concept from functionalism, तो ये नहीं होगा. Functionalism does it focus on phenomenology? What do you think? Just take a wild guess. क्या लगता है कि क्या functionalism phenomenology को focus करता है? नहीं करता. So the correct answer is D. Now, a lot of you must be seeing Dasein analysis for the first time. So, does anybody know about this? आपने पहले कभी सुना है, or is it the first time that you're coming across this term? So, it's the first time. Basically, Dasein analysis, Dasein is actually a German word which means to be living basically. To be living का मतलब क्या होता है? Existence. है ना? Meaning to live. You are living, that is your existence. So because a lot of these philosophers were from the German country, that's the language in which they used to write their work in. So Dasein means to be living, which means existence. That's the literal translation of this. तो पूरी field को ही Dasein analysis बोलेंगे. वो तो English translation is existentialism, right? Dasein analysis in itself also has a lot of what can I say, components of different types of world. If you are interested, you can read upon it if you want. I can give you some cues here कि आपको क्या read करना है. So there are different types of world. According to Dasein analysis, there is a social world. Social world is one of the worlds that comes under Dasein analysis. Another one is a personal world. And इनके भी काफी सारे नाम हैं. So the you can read upon this if you want. I have not seen a question, but हो सकता है वो पूछ ले, तो you can read upon this later. The different types of worlds that exist in existentialism, which is Dasein analysis. But now you know the meaning of Dasein. It is existence literally. Next question, identifying the third force in psychology. Yes, this is D. We know that first force psychoanalysis, second force behaviorism. Is Gestalt force? क्या कभी Gestalt force बन पाया था? नहीं बन पाया था बेचारा. तो यही है ह्यूमनिस्टिक है थर्ड force of psychology. Now, most important people associated with humanistic school: Rogers, Maslow, Little bit revision of the humanistic school only. What all principles is it based on? फ्रिट्स पर्ल्स नहीं होगा. फ्रिट्स पर्ल्स तो जेस्टॉल्ट थेरेपी का फाउंडर है, right? Fritz Perls is not related to humanistic school. He is the founder of Gestalt therapy. Coming back to the principles of this, free will, focus on phenomenology, focus on very positive themes like hope, optimism, creativity and all. So ये इसका main crux है. Now let's look into the work of Rogers and Maslow separately. So we know that Rogers gave this very famous therapy, which is known as person-centered therapy. And according to person-centered therapy, a therapeutic relationship or a therapist should have three main qualities. What are those main qualities? Empathy is one. ये बहुत important है ये कि तीन qualities जो होती है. Unconditional positive regard is the another one. And there is one more, which is congruence. Congruence is also known as genuineness or authenticity. It's the same thing only. So this PCT is given by Rogers. Rogers has given one more concept, which is fully functioning person. Fully functioning person meaning that we want to achieve our full potential. वही है इसका मतलब. Full functioning पे हमें work करना है. And he also talked about real self versus ideal self. The discrepancy between real versus ideal self should be less or more. It should obviously be less because the more it is there, the more it will lead to anxiety. Now, talking about Maslow. So, Maslow has given the concept of self-actualization and the needs hierarchy also. This reminds me that I hope you remember the order of the needs hierarchy also. So, in the beginning, we have physiological needs. Then on top, we have safety needs. Then on top, we have belongingness. Then on top of that, we have esteem needs. Then what do we have on top of this? And ये बाद में और भी ऐड हुई थी ना, कॉग्निटिव नीड्स, एस्थेटिक नीड्स, फिर जाके सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन होती है. तो अभी यहाँ पे हमारे आ जाएगी कॉग्निटिव नीड्स, फिर यहाँ पे आ जाएगी एस्थेटिक नीड्स एंड ऑन टॉप सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन. यस, एंड इवन इसके भी ऊपर ट्रांसेंडेंस. So probably in the next class, I'll try to have an empty page right after some questions. Otherwise, it gets very messy. Yes. So in this entire pyramid, there are some of the needs which are your growth needs, and there are some which are deficiency needs. So can you tell me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 onwards? Like if this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 to 4 are your deficiency needs, and everything on top of that is your growth needs. Yes, correct. So let's just highlight this also with a different color. So these are your deficiency needs, and इसके ऊपर growth needs है. Okay, with this Maslow is also done. Now let's move on to the next. Man's Search for Meaning was authored by Yes, Viktor Franklin, we know that. And he is giving the therapy known as logotherapy, which talks about finding meaning in life. Yes, meaning in life. Now let's move on to the next question. So, which school of psychology objected to breaking perception into elemental sensations? Which school of thought objected? Objected का मतलब क्या होता है? Wait, just take a few seconds, read the question properly, and try to understand what is it asking you. Yes, so now many of you are saying three just stalled. तो पहले क्यों ये 1 2 3 4 की कंफ्यूजन क्यों चल रही थी? ऑब्जेक्शन का मतलब क्या होता है? यू डोंट वांट दिस टू हैपन, यू डोंट वांट इट टू बी ब्रोकन डाउन। वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट हम नहीं चाहते कि परसेप्शन को तोड़ दिया जाए। तो कौन है जो परसेप्शन को एक साथ जोड़ के समझना चाहता है? हु इज द वन हु loves to study perception by combining it together? That is Gestalt only. So of course Gestalt would be very angry if you break it down. Gestalt would object it. So Gestalt will be the answer. Gestalt. So see, यहाँ पे you might get confused between functionalism also, because functionalism was also not interested in breaking down. But in such situations, we have to look at what is the most appropriate option. Gestalt would be even more appropriate than functionalism because उसकी tagline ही है ये whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So that's why three will be the correct answer. So moving on to the next one. So which school rejected both behaviorism and psychoanalysis and emphasized free will and personal growth? Yes, this is humanistic. It is based on free will, just now we discussed. And now this brings us to the last question for today, which is the study of psychology as an independent experimental science began with Willem Wundt. Yes. This also we have discussed 1879 में first experimental lab Leipzig Germany में बनाया, तभी तो it was separated. So psychology was earlier considered as a part of which field? And only because Wundt made that lab, it came to be known as a separate field, psychology. Yes. So little bit, let's revise the beginnings of psychology also. So psychology comes from which language? ये कौन सी लैंग्वेज से आता है ये वर्ड? ग्रीक लैंग्वेज से आता है? लैटिन से नहीं आता है, ग्रीक लैंग्वेज से आता है। यस, इट कम्स फ्रॉम द ग्रीक। एंड इफ यू ट्राई टू ब्रेक इट डाउन, वी हैव साइकी एंड वी हैव लोगोस। So what is the meaning of psyche? Psyche means soul. And what does logos mean? Study. So now we ask ourselves, what is the definition of psychology? Then psychology is the scientific study of dash and dash. Psychology हमें present definition पूछ रही हूँ मैं. Study of soul is the outdated definition. So it is the scientific study of mental processes and behavior. Yes, तो आप सोच रहे होगे कि बेसिक चीजें हैं ये क्यों करूं मैं, बट sometimes they can ask you such basic things as this to test how much you are strong with your basics, and these are the things you believe कि ये तो मुझे आता है मैं तो छोड़ दूंगी. We should know scientific study of behavior and mental processes. So this is the definition of psychology. Okay, so psychology is a combination of which two fields? एक तो psychology philosophy से बना है, which you are right. Physiology, yes. तो जो भी फिजियोलॉजी बोल रहे हैं और एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट, इट इज अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ फिलोसफी एंड फिजियोलॉजी. Yes, so we have discussed the four goals of psychology. We have discussed where the word psychology comes from, the meaning of it, the definition of it. All of this we have discussed. उसकी origination क्या है ये भी. I'm just checking in the notes to see if anything is left that needs to be revised. You all are aware of the difference between overt and covert? If yes, you can tell me the answer also. Yes. तो क्या है overt and covert का difference? Overt is outward and covert is internal. Yes. Four goals of psychology we have done. Then the schools of psychology also we have done in the order. The forces of psychology also we have done. Told you the difference between a school and a force also. Then history of psychology में we have done dualism versus monism also. We have done rationalism versus empiricism also. We also have made a note of who all are dualists, who all are monists, who all are rationalists, who all are empiricists. We have done this. Contribution of Socrates also done. प्लेटो ऑल्सो एरिस्टोटल ऑल्सो हिपोक्रेट्स एंड गैलन भी बहुत अच्छे से कर लिया था डेकार्ट ने जो भी बोला जॉन लॉक ने जो भी बोला फ्लेक्सनर एंड वेबर ऑल्सो वी टच्ड अपॉन बट ये सेंसेशन में दोबारा आएंगे रिसर्च पैराडाइम्स ऑल्सो वी टच्ड अपॉन फोर कैनन्स ऑफ साइंस ऑल्सो then from schools we looked at the order we looked at the work of Wundt in so much detail we looked at Titchener also G Stanley Hall also functionalism also we did very nicely then साइकोएनालिसिस हम पर्सनालिटी में बहुत अच्छे से करेंगे Gestalt also perception में it will come again but we did it right now here also behaviorism will come in learning but यहाँ पे भी हमने कर लिया humanistic also we did very nicely yes existentialism also now two things that are coming to my mind which I would like to point out is that sometime they can ask you a question था कि who of the following is not an example of an Indian psychologist तो ऑप्शंस में इतने सारे इंडियन लोग होंगे हमें क्या पता कि कौन सा वाला है सो देर इज अ पर्टिकुलर स्लाइड इन द पीपीटी which talks about Indian psychologists I hope that you are aware of them like very famous like N.N. Gupta and G.S. Bose these are quite famous people so I hope that you are aware of their contributions तो Indian psychologists don't forget to do that. In the PPT already सबकी contributions लिखी हैं. Indian psychologists and also like कि in which state was the first department of psychology established? Do you know that? Calcutta. Yes. There are some questions here. Let me just see it. They can ask about logo as well. Logo as in psychology logo. This logo which we draw. उससे क्या पूछेंगे वो? What about data in psychology? Yes, so it came to my mind. I was just referring to our PPT to ensure that everything is mostly covered. कुछ बचा तो नहीं है तो Indian psychologist में से हमें क्या पता होना चाहिए? Which of the following are Indian psychologists? What is the contribution of them? And especially N.N. Gupta, G.S. Bose are quite important figures. And the Calcutta thing also I told you. What about Indian history? Will they not ask? See, how do I know what they'll ask, what they'll not ask? One time there was a question on that, which is why I told you the exact same question, and material is there in the PPT, you can refer. Can you please explain phenomenology question once again? Where the question was, which school of thought would not focus on phenomenology? Yes, I'll go to that question. Will you be posting the session on YouTube? So, Anandita, are you, seems like you're not a part of the course. Are you someone who has joined from outside? And there's one more person. I'm not able to understand the correct pronunciation of your name. But since this was our first MCQ solving session, we decided to keep it open for all. but this is exclusively for our core students only. If you want to attend similar lectures where we will be going over the entire topics, we will look into the revision, doubt resolution, and all follow-up questions hai. So you can just get in touch with me and Manvi will help you understand how to join this. Okay, so yeah, like as I said, ki those of you who are new, if you want to enroll in this, you can register by talking to me and Manvi because this has started now. This was the first class. Abhi next class mein we will go over the second topic, which is biopsychology. We're moving in the order of CUET. So biopsychology will be next. Make sure to attend that by registering. Okay. So answering that question, जो phenomenology वाला था, where is that question first of all? Yes, this one. So what exactly is your question, Kamya? Did you not understand the meaning of phenomenology or did you not understand why psychoanalytic or structuralism will not be the answer? Why it will not be the answer? Because psychoanalytic is very deterministic in nature and it only cares about cause effect. It doesn't really care about your lived experience or how things were really like for you from your perspective, right? So if someone has experienced, um, let's say someone had very abusive parents and as a result of that in adulthood they have become a little unstable, they've had some anxiety in the adulthood, so clear cause effect is there because you had these kind of parents, that is why you're this way. I am not interested in knowing from your perspective how it feels like for you to have anxiety, how it was like for you to be a child of such parents, your experiences, tell me more about the story. It's not like that, it is just about द कॉज इफेक्ट ऐसा था इसलिए ऐसे है मुझे नहीं जानना आपके एक्सपीरियंसेस राइट सो दैट्स लाइक द मेन थिंग दैट psychoanalytic would say. It's not like they are not interested only, but their main focus, traditional one, according to Freud, is more on determinism. Structuralism, psychoanalysis would want to understand consciousness, but again, it's not the same as your phenomenology, right? अगर वो समझ भी रहा है अनकॉन्शियस को तो वो क्यों समझ रहे हैं कॉज इफेक्ट एस्टैब्लिश करने के लिए एंड इट इज नॉट डन फ्रॉम द रैशनल इट्स नॉट डन फ्रॉम द प्लेस of wanting to understand the lived experiences of someone. See your humanistic on the other hand. Look at existential on the other hand. They will go into great lengths to talk about your experiences. You will be given the space. The therapist will reflect back what you're saying. You will be given all the empathy, unconditional positive regard. Same thing is not there in psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis is purely deterministic, which is different than phenomenology. That's why this will not be the answer. And structuralism also, वो उसका पर्पस ही नहीं है आपके इंटरनल फ्रेम ऑफ रेफरेंस को जानना, वो बस कॉन्शियसनेस को ब्रेक डाउन करने में इंटरेस्टेड है, उसको कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है आपके फ्रेम ऑफ रेफरेंस में जाने के लिए. ऑल्सो बिकॉज ऑफ द फोकस ऑन प्रेजेंट, दैट इज वाई.
So, ma'am, the answer will be like psychoanalytic and structuralism or gestalt and existentialism because stick is gestalt and existentialism. So, I'm
Oh,
confused.
so my take, yes, yes. So thank you for pointing it out. I have tick mark it in the opposite way. ठीक है. So for not focus on phenomenology, तो ये A और C तो करते ही हैं. तो मार्किंग में थोड़ी सी मिस्टेक हो गई है. तो आपको लॉजिक समझ आ गया ना? There was a mistake in marking it. Like sometimes you are supposed to mark something else, but in the flow you mark another option. That's what has happened. Not focusing on phenomenology, of course, these will not focus. Distort will focus, existential will also focus, right? So, ये तो चलो marking and all is another thing, but the point is that I hope you have understood. Who all were asking this question, Kamya and R, whatever your name is. And there's one more person. How existentialism would not focus? It is very much focusing. वो मार्किंग में मिस्टेक हुई थी, but it is very much focusing. So you have understood now. You can tell me yes or no. If you have understood, you can say yes. नहीं समझ आया तो आप बता सकते हो. Still waiting for a yes or no response from R. And one more person, your name begins with 115, but I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. Okay, great. आ गया समझ. Yes. So, the first 11 classes are for unit-wise MCQ solving, and the last class is there for mixed MCQs, right? So it will be like mixed. क्योंकि अब mix में क्या होता है कि we don't want to keep all the sessions mixed because this way all the units do not get equal weightage. Especially with CUET, general psychology has a lot of weightage, so we want कि हम proper time dedicate करें उसे. जितना मटेरियल है सारा ऊपर से नीचे तक हम करें अच्छे से प्रैक्टिस. दैट इज व्हाई वी आर गोइंग यूनिट वाइज. वी डोंट वांट टू कॉम्प्रोमाइज ऑन एनीथिंग. The Greek letter is widely used as a symbol of psychology. This is what when I said the logo. हाँ तो यही है ना ये वाला लोगो साइकोलॉजी का. अभी तक तो एनटीए ने कोई फोटो वाला क्वेश्चन डाला नहीं है, सिंबल या लोगो वाला क्वेश्चन डाला नहीं है, पर अगर वो डालते भी है, नाउ यू नो द आंसर. If you want the details, you can connect with me or Manvi on WhatsApp. आपको जिस भी ग्रुप से लिंक मिला है सेशन का, we are the admins of that, so you can connect with us. Otherwise, we'll send the details ourselves also. Yes. So I am done for today's session. How was it like for you? Can you share a few responses? पहले तो आपका स्कोर कैसा रहा? हमने I think we have done 35 questions today. How was your performance like? How much did you score? मतलब out of 35, how many did you get correct? And otherwise also if you want to share your experience. Really great revision. Glad to hear that. That was our point. It was really good. It helped boost confidence a lot. Yes. And I hope that you were also writing side by side the points that you did not know or the questions that you were getting wrong. तो सबका क्या परफॉर्मेंस रहा, सबका क्या स्कोर रहा बताओ. I have taught you for 6 months. At least I deserve to know. What is your score? How much did you? 32 correct with one silly mistake and two I did not know. So this is full. Wow, that is so nice. That is very amazing. Beautiful. It was nice revising. Got to learn new things. 33 on 35. तो ये तो बहुत अच्छा स्कोर है. अगर आप ऐसे ही पढ़ते रहोगे तो आपके तो पक्का 285 290 तक आ सकते हैं. Then all the top colleges are yours only. It was a great class. Thank you so much. Some doubts. Can you make another group? Yes, we can make it. I want to attend revision classes only. 9K is not. अरे ये सेपरेट कोर्स है. हमें भी पता है हम जब कोर्स निकालते हैं हम क्यों 9,000 रखेंगे 1 month के लिए. हमें पता है 9,000 is for the full course which was 8-9 months long. This one will have a separate price. This is a separate course altogether. It has about 12 MCQ sessions. It has 5 mock tests and it also has cheat sheets. So this is a separate thing. It will have a separate price. It is not 9,000. It helped me boost confidence. I have exam phobia. It helped me a lot. Nice. So anything else that you'd like to share? Because I am done from my end, and Manvi is also here today. If there's anything that she would like to add. और this is open right now. किसी को कुछ बोलना है, कुछ पूछना है, they can do that. Otherwise, we can end the session. Okay, so it seems like we have come towards the end and we will continue with this on Thursday. The next topic is biopsychology. I'll see you all. It was great fun solving
I have a
this.
doubt from the last class.
Okay, so I am ending this. You can stay here and ask your doubt. Okay, the rest can leave. And you can also share your feedback in the group so that those who did not join, who were not able to join for some reason, they can also kind of understand how beneficial it was. So they'll also make the most use out of it next time. Yes. So I'm done. On my end, we can just close this, and Ishan, you were saying you have a question. You can ask it right now.